gonna start with the countertop. Countertop's gonna be made out of 1x4s glued together side by side. Is it a good idea? I don't know. I've been pretty angry today because of that whole table fiasco, but this countertop might make me feel a little better. This might turn out okay. I've cut all the pieces. Nothing's been glued yet. It's just sitting there, but I think this is gonna look pretty. Not gonna tell you what the plan is for it yet. It's got big plans, but I'm gonna see if I can glue some of this together. I think I'm gonna do it in chunks because I've got 7 rows here, which is kind of a lot. So I think I'm gonna do 3 rows right now. I'll have to probably buy more glue, then do the other 4 rows, but we're gonna glue it together in chunks. So I definitely forgot to film that because I started gluing and then I had to keep gluing because it's a process, but I got a little chunk. That's what's getting glued right now. This is just gonna be in chunks throughout the week, I think, getting that glued. While glue's setting and stuff, I'll be figuring out the framing for the cabinets, which I think might get pretty complicated on me, so we'll see. Well, I found more clamps, so I think I'm gonna try and do it in one big run, which is going to be stressful. There's a lot to glue down here, so I guess I will see you on the other side of this time lapse. All right, well, it's all put together. It's gonna be bad, but I had no joiner, I have no planer, and so it's gonna just be a lot of sanding. Maybe I can go use a planer somewhere, I don't know, but it's gonna be just fine. I'm not worried about it. For no joiner, no planer, I picked the best wood I can find, and it's gluing together fairly flat. There's some high and low spots, obviously, but there's also going to be a sink in one spot and the stove in another spot. And so if there's a really uneven area, I just cut that out and I put the stove there, you know? So we're going to see. I think that's pretty nice. What Dawson's doing today is the ottoman. I've left him autonomous on that because he can handle it. So while he's doing that, I'm trying to figure out how to deal with the cabinets. I got to figure out how to frame the cabinets. I bought a bunch of 1x2. I don't know why I did that. I should have bought plywood, but now I have the 1x2. So I'm going to figure it out with the 1x2 because that's what I have and that's what we do here. So Dawson's figuring out the ottoman and I'm figuring out the cabinets. Nobody makes cabinets out of 1x2, but I'll show you what I'm doing. This is the sort of frame of the cabinet so far. I'm just running it along the bottom. It's gonna have to do something fancy over there, but it'll get screwed together. Obviously there'll be tons of frame posts coming up everywhere, but this is the layout. All right, there's the footprint of the cabinet, and I think the best way to connect all these is probably with a nail gun. All right, well, I've been fooling around over there. Dawson's been getting shit done. We've got the ottoman. It's coming together nicely. Wonderful, I love it. Hours later in my basement, thinking, what am I doing with 1x2s? What am I doing? Trash that, trashing all of that. You're gonna see plywood next time. I've got a cool idea with the plywood if I can execute it professionally. So, ooh, look what I bought. Plywood. And what was I doing here? What is even the plan? The seat is also getting all kinds of new holes. So this is the bottom seat. You put holes in here because anything that there's a mattress on top of, you want there to be airflow through it to avoid mold. That's big for where you're sleeping. And so this is just, I threw some holes in it. Also, I'm gonna cut these pieces out, and that is where the seat belts will be able to come up. I doubt anyone will use them, but technically it will be an option, so. All right, I think the seat should be completely finished. I mean, as far as like functionality goes, it's got these little bumpers on here now, so you can set down the table on top of it, seat beltable, and yeah.
So Jeremy marked out all the cabinets and then asked me for my help because table saws are tough to run with one person. So we're gonna get this all cut out, and then so actually, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but the doors for the cabinets are actually marked out here. They're gonna be completely flush. We're trying to figure out a system to get them to stay closed while we're driving and not spill everything when you take corners. We're thinking like the soft close cabinets or maybe even some magnets, but we got to figure that out. So stay tuned.
I was gonna talk, but he covered everything, so watch us cut this. Good job. All right, so I've spent quite a bit of time getting the layout set up pretty well. As you can see, there's drawers over here. The stove will go right here. It'll be a door. Right here, I've got more drawers and then some doors, and the sink's gonna go up there. So basically what the plan is, the cabinets are going to be covered in this laminate. It's Formica, just black laminate, and I have to first glue it on the other side of this, let it sit for a while. Then I'll take the skill saw and I will cut all of these cabinets out and stuff, so I will have a clean, it'd be way harder to cut the Formica out after doing that. So I'm gonna glue it on there, cut it with a nice fine tip on the skill saw, and everything should be cut out. All these drawers, all these doors are all gonna be completely flush. Like if I cut out this drawer right here, this piece is going to be the cover for the drawer itself. So everything will go all the way in and it'll be a completely flat surface. Being flat, I don't know if I'm going to add handles on or if I spend a bunch of money and I get the like push to open and the soft close drawers. I don't know, we're going to see. Honestly, really nervous to cut all this. This is kind of big. If I mess this up, I gotta redo a whole bunch of stuff, but I guess it can all be redone if it has to be, so I should just chill out. It's gonna work. I'll get that done tomorrow. All right, big things. What's happening? Let me fill you in. Here is the face of the counter with all the drawers, all the doors. It needs this black laminate to go on it before I make all the cuts. Otherwise, I think it would be really tough to cut out each piece of black laminate and ever make it line up nicely the way I want it to, glue down nicely. So I'm going to cut this out to be a pretty close fit, glue it on there, then make all of my cuts. Cutting with tin snips or scissors, bad idea, it starts to crack. You're gonna have to find another way. All right, instead of routing it beforehand, I'm just gonna glue it on there and then route it all out. It'll have something solid to, a solid backboard while I route it. Anyway, I'm using this 3M contact adhesive. I'll spray half of it on there, half of it on there. Then you wait till it gets tacky for about 10 minutes. Just put the boards together, you roll it out. It's supposed to not come apart, so we'll see what it do. All right, that went on pretty smoothly. Now I have to figure out how to route all the edges off and make it cleaner. I am nervous. This kind of has to go well, or else big waste of time. So. I haven't flipped it over yet, but it felt very promising. So we're gonna flip it over. We gotta find a way. Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Mr. Postman! Oh yeah! It's almost like that's what that bit is meant to do. That looks stunning. I like it. Now I have to do actually all of the hard work of cutting it with the skill saw. Oh. There's only so much procrastinating I can do before I actually have to make a cut. So here goes a cut. Oh my God, one cut done, 5,700,000 more to go. However, you can see this cut from the back side. Very clean, W fine finish blade. So apparently after 2 cuts, I've gotten antsy and overconfident because I've decided I've got skill with the skill saw and I don't need all that. So I'm just gonna freehand these bottom ones and you're gonna watch my reaction in case it goes not so well. It'll go well. Let's watch this skill, everybody. Dude, I am good. I don't know. Ooh, baby. I am clinical with the skill saw. These cuts look pretty darn good. Now the only problem is it's kind of like a big board, and then you know how as a kid you get those toys and you pop out all the plastic pieces. That's kind of what's going on because the circular saw can only go so far. And so now I've got all these corners to cut. So this is what the front looks like right now. As you can see, all the corners haven't been done yet. I gotta do that with the jigsaw, but obviously it's dusty and stuff, but that's the layout and it looks pretty solid. Stunning, stunning, stunning. Oh baby, looks pretty solid. The only quarrels I have with it is I only made these thick enough to glue plywood to. And so they're thick enough for the plywood, but they're pretty thin, you know what I'm saying? So working with this is gonna be kind of tough as to not snap off some of these skinny legs, which is a little scary, but otherwise it came out pretty darn clean. What now? So, as you can see, I showed you this in the last clip, the counter, right? Now the counter has to have stuff for the drawers to slide on and for structural stability and all that jazz. So I've got all these pieces cut. Doesn't come out. I've got all these pieces cut out of plywood that just run straight back. Like this is the back wall, this is the front of the cabinets, the other side of this. Problems I was having, all this plywood is bowed. Awesome, the whole sheet was bowed, so every single one of these pieces is bowed, and it goes like this. So to counteract that, little brackets I made, they're just 90s with holes in them. And you throw it on each side pretty much all the way down. And it's not so aggressively bowed to where it can't be righted with some of these brackets. And I'll glue it on there. So I got to do that for every piece that's going to go up. I got to make a bunch of these brackets and get it set like this. So this is kind of what I'm working with. I haven't put the end pieces on yet because they got to get trimmed down some. But I'm going to try and get this set up into the bus. I think it's going smoothly. I don't know. I haven't found any reason it's not going smoothly, but I feel like something should start to go wrong. You know, it's been going a little too well. So I guess you're going to watch a time lapse of me putting the walls on the board. I've got the cabinet face laid down. I'm going to take all the walls and screw them in. I'll tip it up and we'll just see what I'm missing. I have to be missing something. It shouldn't be working. So let's find out. Ooh, baby. Bro. Oh my God. Put the wrong board in there. Anyway, check it. That doesn't look too bad now, does it? Key points you might notice. There's not one there. I'm gonna do that. It has to be a different size. This is the wrong size. That's because I put the wrong board in. Whoopsies, it's that one. I'll put it in, don't worry. There's this open spot. There's not a board here. A skinny board is going to cover this off. And in this area, wires will be able to come up because my power bank is going to be right there. So wires can come up here. Maybe some power can be mounted right here. So that's why this has this little gap here. Not too bad yet. I've just returned from the most profitable trip I could have imagined to Home Resources. So I got soft close drawer slides, right? So these are the fancy drawer slides that they come out all the way and then they go in and they nice, soft and close. So anyway, if I take turns and stuff, this isn't gonna come out. $12. These are 20 bucks a thing. Big money saved there. That's awesome. I got almost enough to do all of it. Then I got hinges for the doors and I got a piece of wood for the table. I got a bunch of stuff, like 30 bucks. The moral of this story is go buy used stuff. You have to search a little harder, but you're gonna find, well, hopefully you find good stuff. Anyway, that's the moral of that story. Let's get to work. So now I have to install these drawer slides inside my nice cabinetry, which is gonna be pretty tough, but that's the project as of right now. Also the table, I have designated Liam as master table man. I'm not gonna touch it. We're gonna see what he does. That's all Liam, so. Current issue, these slides are great. This part mounts to the wall. This side doesn't mount to the drawer. Do you see anywhere to mount it? Not really. So I have to figure out how to get these to stick to the mounts. Can't use glue because my cupboards aren't perfectly square, so it needs a little bit of wiggle room, which makes it that much harder. So I'll show you what I come up with. This is my professional fix to getting it to fit on the slides. Let me explain. Here at the back of the slides, we have these pieces that come up. So the drawer itself can slide into those. So that's covered, right? Here on the front of the slides, it has those little holes. And that's what these screws at the front are for. Those screws just fall down into those slides and fit nicely. The last problem I was having was it would go side to side like this. So to fix that, I just threw these two boards on there on the bottom and they rest on the inside of the slides. The holes, oh, it didn't fall into the holes, hold on. Now we're in the holes. just like that, and it goes back in smooth, soft close and everything. So solid. Now I just got to do that for every single one of them. Obviously that's not professional, but I just got these from like a secondhand place, and so I didn't have the clips that go on the door itself, the drawer itself, to slide in there perfectly. So I think this is going to work just fine. If you're wondering how I'm leveling these in here, I'm setting them in here, and then I'm using my ichrometer. Genuinely, I literally, like, I just line it up perfect like this, and then I put the back where I think it needs to go. It is all educated guesswork, and it's working pretty darn well, so I'm gonna keep doing it. Also, look how perfectly these slides fit in here. I mean, they're perfect. I couldn't have cut them out on purpose to fit that perfectly, and it was just a guess. Like, when I made this whole cupboard, it was just a guess. I didn't even know I was gonna get those slides. I don't know how that worked out, but that's so nice. To fill you in on what's happening with Liam's project, the table, here it is, just like that. There's the table. It's nothing complicated. It's just this nice sheet of wood we also got for like 20 bucks, and it's this nice hardwood, so that's really pretty. We got that. And then it's just screwed onto this. Honestly, I don't like this. I'm gonna order a new one that's better because this wobbles a lot, but it's way easier than what I was trying to do, so I'm just gonna get a better one of those, and the table is pretty much taken care of, except Liam's doing some more work in there right now to make it pretty. I'm not going to share what it is until you see the end product, but I think this table is going to be really nice. Just when I thought I couldn't be stopped, I got stopped. So the way I have the screws just going through here, and then they fall into, and then they just fall into these. It worked really well on the first one, and then it's not fitting on any of the other ones, so I have switched up slightly what I'm doing. In this hole, I mounted a little bolt, obviously, and then I'm going to drill holes in all of the drawer bottoms, and then these will just stick up through there. It'll have a little bit of wiggle room, and it should fit a little bit tighter. Cabinet building pro tip: when you build your cabinets, you should make them square, so that when you put the drawer slides in there, they slide out square, or else it makes it a lot tougher. Pretty much all of my drawers are a little bit crooked. So then when they're flush in here, and that means that the drawers would look crooked in here. So now I'm in here with the sander, shaving off edges of this, and then vacuuming up all the dust, and then getting it so that when it slides out smoothly and it doesn't kink in there. It's just been a whole lot of shimming and drilling new holes and getting it to work. But so far, all of them do slide smoothly. Which is really nice. So build your cabinets square. They're real close to square, but they're not quite right. So that was a mistake on my part when I put that back on, which I just my bad. But blew both those out the back. Hold on, let's try again. Oh my god, this thing's coming together. Oh, buddy, there's a cabinet.
Alright, so here's my beautifully handcrafted oak table. No finish yet. And then here's the mounting piece that Jeremy's so graciously getting rid of because he bought the cheap one.
Oops.
And, you know, nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see those ugly ass edges. Especially not Jeremy. So, I am 75% of the way done crafting a little rounded edge part, and then we're going to paint it all black.
While Liam has been handling business on that front, I've been dealing with getting these doors installed. Step number one, you have to route out these little parts that I've marked because I've got these fancy hinges on here, so the hinges will go in there. So I route that out, and then I have one hell of a time lining it up inside the bus and screwing it down, but it comes out pretty nice. These cabinets are kicking my ass. I should have realized when I wanted it totally flush and I only have an 1/8 inch on each side of it that it was going to be tough to install them. I haven't done anything. It's nighttime. I haven't done anything. I don't know how I got this one. The hinges were slightly different, but it closes pretty nicely and doesn't go anywhere, so I'm not going to mess with that one. But these, I cannot do. So, I don't know, I'm going to wrap it up for tonight, maybe think about it and see what else I can come up with, because I can't do that. Kind of lost the battle out here today, not going to lie, but that's all right. Yesterday, I think I made a lot of progress, so you win some, you lose some. All right, so I've gotten smarter, and now the boxes get built outside of the bus, because now I can shoot a bunch of nails in them. Anyway, yeah, so basically here's the cabinetry. You're watching cabinet history be made. Just throw a couple nails straight down like that. None of them blew through the sides because I'm getting good at this. Due to my brilliant system, and by that I just mean not great, so it might fall apart, installing drawers is easy. Oh no. Easy peasy. Here we have an almost finished product. You can see it has holes for the handle, but anyway, that's what it looks like. Comes out real nice. Slots back in pretty clean. Obviously these edges look rough because I haven't peeled the plastic off yet, but yeah, so that's what the whole thing's gonna look like. The way I'm mounting these is I have the box in there, and then I set the door where I like it to be, right there. And then I take these little 90s right here, and I put the 90 on the inside, like so, just right in the corner there. And then you screw it in, and it doesn't go nowhere. Woohoo! With the plastic peeled off and everything, that looks elegant. I'd like to point out that when making these fits, my shim is a paper towel. Anything more, anything less, and it doesn't work. But one paper towel, and that's exactly where it needs to be. So the face of the cabinets is nice and pretty, but that's not, so we gotta fix that. Gotta cut the laminate to size, just like that. Then we gotta take our piece and glue it up there. And just like that, it's looking a lot better. Next. This countertop has gotta go on these cabinets. So let's get that done tonight. Kidding, this is gonna take at least like probably a week to make this nice and pretty and have everything mounted in it and laid down. So step one is just to cut it out to size. There's obviously this here, and then it's a little bit too wide, so that's the first step. Alright, before I spend 18 hours sanding this bad boy down to make it somewhat flat and level, I'm going to mark and cut out where the sink and the stovetop are going to be going. Alright, time for a little more show of skill with the skill saw. Here's where the stovetop goes. As you ah! Ooh! Fancy. We are getting somewhere now. Obviously, there's a bunch that has to happen, but look at that. Look at that. We're pretty framed out at the moment. Next video, we're going to probably start making stuff pretty. Maybe functional. Maybe I should make the stove and the water functional. But I might just start making things pretty. So find out next time, I guess.